Okay, today we're going to be talking about something that is really toxic, and that is power scaling. Now, power scaling is something that I really don't like to talk about, especially when it's coming on something that is related to anime, because power shifts and position tilts, there's certain things in anime that can sort of change a person in power, and we're going through that at the current moment in the arc of Wano. But there's something that this is something that I want to talk about because in my previous video, I had a comment about a certain person's 30 characters that they think is the strongest characters within the world of One Piece at the current moment. And that is something that I honestly want to talk about. I honestly want to talk about this because one, we're in a new year and we're stepping into new territory, but also we have experienced a lot within the story of One Piece this past year. So I feel like it would be a fitting time to pretty much tell you my personal 30 characters that I think is currently the strongest 30 characters within the world of One Piece. And trust me, the positions of Luffy, Zoro, and a few other characters that I feel that made a monumental difference within this year have sort of shifted, and I feel like a lot of people are not giving certain credit to these characters that I have actually mentioned. But before we get into the video, if this is your first time, please stop the video, go ahead and slap that like button. It will really help me out and help this video out and sort of help the YouTube algorithm to sort of promote my videos more. If you are a subscriber, please do that for me and I'll really appreciate it. If this is your first time viewing one of my videos, please subscribe to the channel, and while you're down there, go ahead and hit the notification bell so you can become more aware, or you can be more aware of any future One Piece content, and so you can keep on watching some One Piece content. But let's get on to the video. So before I give you my list of 30, I just want to tell you about a specific group that I'm sort of putting on the side. This group will be a group that hasn't showed any sort of feat throughout the story of One Piece. Also, it will be a position or a group that I feel that honestly has no position within the strongest characters at the moment, because we do not know what sort of power that they hold. And based on conjectures and everything like that, it could mean that their power or their ranking could be sort of different compared to everybody else that we've seen or have actually experienced throughout the story. So for example, people like Dragon, the Gorosei, Emu, and Kong, these characters are people that we believe that they're strong based on their epithet or based on something that was mentioned about them, but we do not actually know about their true strength. So that's something that cannot be positioned within this world or within the top 30 at the current moment. Each and every one of the characters that I put in the top 30 are people that I honestly feel that we can get a good understanding of their power. So in Dragon's case, even though he is the most wanted person in the world and the world's most dangerous man in the world of One Piece, that could just be because of his ideals, not necessarily due to his strength. He could possibly be strong, and there's no doubt about that, but his ideals might make him the reason why he's the most wanted man in the world or the most dangerous man in the world, since it considerably contradicts the ideals of the world government and Emu, and that is why they gave him that epithet, not necessarily meaning that he is the strongest person. And the same thing goes for the Gorosei. They, at the current position that they are in, they could be considered extremely strong, but like I said before, we do not know their considerable strength. So that cannot be a factor of how strong they are within the world of One Piece at the current moment. All these characters are people that we have actually seen, but not any feat or not any sort of power, so we can't properly scale them compared to the people that we've seen throughout the world of One Piece. Now, there also is another character that will not be part of my honorable mentions, also not part of the top 30 as well, and this person is Queen. Queen is currently a top commander out of the Beast Pirates, but I honestly feel like Queen has too many gimmicks. He's not usually using his own power. You haven't really seen him use Haki or anything that makes him stand out compared to his fellow commanders. And I feel like those gimmicks that he's used against the battle with Sanji is something that is too gimmicky. And I feel like that doesn't pretty much play a part of his battle prowess and his battle experience. That makes him look weaker than stronger, in my opinion. So Queen is not somebody that will be part of my honorable mentions or even part of the top 30. Now, let's get into the honorable mention. Now, the honorable mentions that I feel like we have to mention is the 7 people that I feel that are going to be extremely strong, or the 8 people, sorry, that I feel like it's going to be extremely strong throughout the future of One Piece, and that have made a monumental growth since the pre-time skip and in the current time skip. I feel like these people are somebody that has to be considered part of the strongest, but just did not make it out of my top 30. And the first one goes to Doflamingo. Doflamingo is that first serious boss in a RPG game, or just a game in general, that you go up to and you realize that it's not going to be a cakewalk. He sort of gives us the definition or the possibilities of the enemies that Luffy may face after Dressrosa. In Dressrosa, Doflamingo showed us the possibilities of an enemy having a strong source of Haki, a strong devil fruit, and a strong awakening. He checked all the boxes as an antagonist, and he created a sort of system to every sort of antagonist that we see after him to sort of have. He checks the boxes that we all consider him to have, and we all considered a antagonist to have, which why a lot of people sort of consider Doflamingo part of the top 30. But I do not, because I feel like there's 30 characters that could easily, at the current moment, beat Doflamingo mid-diff, high-diff, but definitely Doflamingo is not winning against most of the people in my top 30. Another person I would also consider, who would be my second choice, would be Crocodile. Crocodile is somebody that we really haven't seen fight since the Paramount War or since the War of the Best, but I feel like Crocodile, Oda sort of did him an injustice. He is an opponent that I considered to have an awakened devil fruit, especially if you look throughout the arc of Alabasta. Crocodile was somebody that actually did a lot, and his strength was extremely well. And on SBS, it was also mentioned that Oda felt that he sort of introduced Crocodile way too soon, and I feel like that plays a part of his strength. Another person I want to mention, which would be my third honorable mention, would be Kobe. Kobe is a person that I feel that goes in tandem with Luffy. That his strength is sort of close to Luffy's, but as an admiral, or his goal to being an admiral. And the fact that GarP is one of his teachers, or his main teacher, I would hope that GarP would teach him advanced Haki and advanced observation. Even if he wanted to be an admiral, I feel like to be an admiral, you have to be at a certain level, and Kobe is trying to reach that level at some point, which would also mean that his Haki level would be significantly high. And one of the things that I feel like Kobe is honestly could possibly make it part of the 30 strongest characters, but the only reason why I didn't is because we don't have substantial data or information about Kobe. The last time we saw Kobe, he was stopping a torpedo, but what I saw in that clip was him being able to specifically use a form of observation Haki to either directly know the mood or the exact emotion of the people that were targeting the ship for Dressrosa. But he knew something was going to hit. He had the speed or the enough strength to sort of remove the torpedo out of its trajectory, and he was able to have enough poise to actually take care of the people that were aiming for that ship, which in general would mean that he has to at least have a form of observation hockey that is strong enough to compete with the top hockey users. Also, being GarP's student, you already know that he has an armament level hockey that could be substantially stronger than most of the armament hockey users that we've seen, since GarP is a strong armament hockey user. So that is a reason why I am mentioning Kobe on the list. Now, another person that I wanted to mention on this list, on the honorable mention list, is Usopp. Usopp is a person that I think Usopp is going to end up being more like towards the ending of the series. But Usopp is a person that I honestly feel that is part of the top commanders. Besides the fact that he was mentioned to be one of the hard hitters on Shanks' crew, there's something about Shanks' commanders that were mentioned that I feel that makes them part of the strongest characters throughout the actual One Piece universe. And the fact that throughout all of Shanks' crew, these three people that were mentioned, Usopp, Lucky Roo, Ben Beckman, all these three characters are said to be as strong or noteworthy because of being part of Shanks' crew. And Shanks is considered the closest person to become Pirate King and one of the strongest Yonko, and his commanders could also be a high-end commander level group. So Usopp is somebody that I feel that would be extremely strong, but just didn't make it part of my list. Now, the other two characters that I want to mention, part of my honorable mention, is Tokikake and Gion. Tokikake and Gion are two characters that were considered on the level of Admiral. It was mentioned that their power was substantially greater than most of the candidates, but they were beaten out by Fuijitora and Greenbull. These two characters are said to be extremely strong, but like I said, they have no complete feats, and they're just considered strong because of them almost being considered as admirals, which is something that I feel like is substantial, something to take noteworthy of, because they were able to almost reach that category that a lot of the animals that we've seen so far. Now, let's get on to the nitty-gritty part of this video. The 30 that I feel that are the strongest characters throughout the current story of One Piece. And we're going to start out with the first 5, 30 through 25. And the person that I honestly feel that we're going to mention, or that we have to mention, is Magellan. Magellan is that character that we haven't seen since the pre-time skip, but his abilities and the feats that he's shown throughout the arc of Impel Down are so substantial that no matter what position or power shifting that happens throughout the story, Magellan will always be that top dog, the one of the strongest peoples throughout the universe of One Piece, because of his devil fruit. His devil fruit is way too good because he has the ability to manipulate poison, which is one of the most threatening elements throughout the world, even in our world. And the fact that he's able to sort of strengthen his level of poison makes him a threat to be reckoned with. But every single character after Magellan, I feel like would easily beat Magellan without even touching him. Like somebody like Cracker. Cracker is my 29th character because of the amount of power and the amount of positions that he had. He is the third commander of the Big Mom Pirates, and the amount of strength that he has actually shown within the fight with Luffy was something that I felt was monumental. He could easily beat most of the people on my honorable mention and Magellan because of his devil fruit. The ability to control crackers seems to be something that isn't that noteworthy, but if he's making enough cracker armies and soldiers, he will be able to beat somebody like Magellan without necessarily touching them. Plus, Luffy mentioned that Cracker has one of the strongest armament hockey that he's ever actually come against, which means that somebody like Doflamingo isn't even close to Cracker, and somebody like Crocodile couldn't even possibly beat Cracker as well. Somebody like Queen, it would be very difficult for people like Queen or people in the same level of Queen and Jack to actually fight against Cracker. These characters that I've mentioned are or would have an extremely hard time fighting Cracker because of his abilities alone. Now, the next person that I personally wouldn't want to put on my top 30 list, but I have to consider his strength, is Shiriyuu of the Rain. Shiriyuu is a person that I feel that is not an honorable sort of guy. So that is why I wouldn't consider him my top 30. Plus, his swordplay and his current devil fruit would put him in a position that would make him stronger. But I feel like most of the people who are above Shiriyuu could easily maneuver whatever ability that he has and sort of beat him in a certain way. And I feel that Shiriyuu needs more feats and needs to show us the amount of power that he actually has. But Shiriyuu of the Rain is something that, or somebody that I honestly don't take light of. But like I said, he is a conniving sort of person, so I put him extremely low compared to a lot of characters because I don't think that he is that strong if he needs gimmicks and deceit to sort of beat a person. A person that I would put above him would be King. Now, King is a commander that I honestly feel that has the highest strength between all the rest of the first commanders. But he gets outbeaten by 3 other commanders that I feel, or 4 other commanders that I feel that are way stronger than King. But I feel like King could easily give Shiriyuu, Jack, anybody else in the world of One Piece and out of the lists that I've made so far, that he could easily beat all these people because of his ability within his devil fruit, but not only that, his actual nature and his actual bloodline. That will increase his strength to the point where he could easily beat any of the people that I've mentioned prior to him in a one-on-one fight. Now, one of the strongest first commanders that we've seen that I feel that sort of puts a ladder or puts a bench point for every commander is the one and only Katakuri. Katakuri has showed us what a true commander, first commander, should look like. That it should be the one, that the first commander should be the one to sort of be the backbone of their group. And I sort of mentioned it in one of my previous videos that Katakuri is different. He's the person that everybody looks up to because of his strength and his leadership skills. He is the person I feel that would be more likely to take over the Big Mom pirates if anything could possibly happen to Big Mom. But Katakuri's future sight is something that is also monumental and something that I feel that he would have an edge against every single one of the characters that I have mentioned. But every person above him has a substantial growth throughout the series since we've seen him, or has something to offer that would easily make them better than Katakuri. And one of the people that I want to mention that could possibly be better than Katakuri is Sanji. Yes, Sanji is a person that I feel that is higher than Katakuri, and Sanji is my 25th character. He has risen to the point within this fight alone and all the power-ups and buffs that he's gotten. He has risen to the point where I feel that he can go toe-to-toe with every single one of the characters that I've mentioned, as well as Katakuri. In the Whole Cake Island arc, Katakuri was able to shoot a jelly bean at Sanji, but Sanji dodged it with the amount of power that goes beyond a lot of observation skills. And I feel like Sanji can easily learn future sight since his main strength is observation haki, meaning that he would be put above a lot of the people that I've mentioned before that because of his new power-ups and because of his observation haki skills. That is why I feel that Sanji would be stronger than Katakuri and every person I've mentioned so far. Now, the two people that is above Sanji and above all the characters that I've also mentioned is Law and Kid. You could either put Law at 24 and Kid at 23, but they're definitely interchangeable for me because of the amount of strength that we've seen through the war that we're currently in. It was mentioned in the Oden flashback that the characters that will go against Kaido, that will beat Kaido, would lead the future of One Piece. So in general, these two guys are, besides Luffy, are the people that will end up becoming future emperors of the sea. But Law, the reason why I put him lower than Kid is because he still doesn't know Conqueror's Haki. But they're definitely the two strongest guys, no matter how you feel about them, no matter how much you hate Kid or how much you hate Law. These two are characters that strength has increased monumentally because of not only their devil fruits being awakened, but the experience that they are gaining within the battle between Kaido and between Big Mom, and the fights that they've actually all received up to this point. I believe that the current Law could easily wash Doflamingo and easily wash anybody else through the list that I've mentioned so far, and that goes for Kid as well. Their Devil Fruit awakening puts them above a lot of people, and I also feel that about Kid. Kid already has Conqueror's Haki. Once he completes a sort of strength level that has him at the same point as Luffy, he will definitely be increased to a whole new different level and probably end up being higher on my list in a future video. But I do feel like Kid has made a point to the story and to all the readers that he is somebody that is strong enough to tussle with an emperor. Now, I might get a lot of heat for this, but a person that is my personal favorite, that has a lot of strength, a lot of poise, a lot of wisdom and experience in battle, and that I feel that can beat every single character that I've mentioned, my personal favorite is Jinbei. Jinbei is definitely top 30 strongest characters within the verse. No matter what people think, I will always believe that, and he is my 22nd person. And the reason being is not only because I am being biased, which I might be a little biased, but Jinbei is a person that has Fishman Karate. And I feel like Fishman Karate is the superior martial arts throughout the whole entire world of One Piece. Fishman Karate is said to manipulate the ability or the water in a person's body. And since each and every one of the characters within One Piece is a human being, their body can easily be manipulated due to Fishman Karate. Jinbei is the epitome or the main guy for Fishman Karate. He is currently the strongest master in Fishman Karate. And the things that he was able to do with his strength alone is something that I feel that a lot of people is overlooking. He was easily able to take over or beat who's who within a one-on-one battle. He went full body armament haki, and he was the first character to ever do that and not get bodied by anybody. He was the strongest character before a lot of people actually realized that he was the strongest character pre-time skip. Jinbei is a person that not only went against Big Mom with no sort of fear, but he knew that he could push her back, not beat her in a one-on-one fight, but definitely push her back, which is considerable to me at least. His strength is something that is not to be laughed about, because though Oda does not put a lot of fish or information within his sort of fighting style, his ability to push back a Yonko by using the water in her body is something that a lot of people look over. Plus, a thing that I've always mentioned is the possibility of Jinbei knowing Conqueror's Haki. I feel like his ability to control those whale sharks during the Impel Down arc is something that will be monumental, or something that would be extremely important within the future of One Piece. Because even Crocodile mentioned during the boat ride from Impel Down to Marineford, that the ability that Jinbei had to control the whale sharks was something far unique than a normal fishman. That fishman people cannot easily do that, not easily control fish, not even whale sharks. So something about Jinbei's power is very important, and I feel that we're going to learn a lot about his strength throughout the future of One Piece. Now, the three people that I feel that could be far beyond Jinbei and even further beyond this list, but the reason why I put them so low is because of the amount of fights that we haven't seen post time skip. These three people are guys that I feel that are extremely strong in their own right, but the only reason why they get a lot of crap is because they're the three old man trio. Yes, Sengoku, GarP, and Rayleigh. These three guys are above a lot of characters, and I would love to put them further beyond, but they're somebody that I can't because of all the people above them, and it's because the post-time skip three old man trio have not really done much. But based on the information that we've gotten post time skip, we know that their strength goes beyond your normal admiral and your normal vice admiral. These three guys are beyond the strength of a lot of the current characters, in my opinion, because of the amount of feats that they did when they were young. Rayleigh is definitely, to my knowledge, the strongest out of the three, because he's sort of like Beckman is to Shanks what Zoro is to Luffy. He is Roger's right-hand man. He is the god. He's the person that knows how strong he has to be in the same level as Goldie Roger. He is the moon to Roger's sun. And I feel like Rayleigh should be positioned all the way further up because he is the right-hand man of the Pirate King himself. But the only reason why I can't give him much is because I still don't know his complete strength. But from what information that we've gotten so far, we know that Rayleigh is a master at observation haki and advanced observation haki. Not only that, he has Conqueror's haki. He mastered armament and advanced armament haki, which would put him far beyond a lot of people. And I feel that should categorize him as one of the strongest, but like I said, due to their age and due to the amount of feats that we haven't seen post time skip, I will put him at 19. Rayleigh is definitely the top 20 strongest characters. You can definitely interchange him with Sengoku and with GarP. But Rayleigh is definitely one of the guys that you don't want to mess with because there's a possibility that he also knows Advanced Conqueror's haki. He's the person that I feel has the amount of strength to sort of tussle with all the admirals, and he could possibly give the Yonko a run for their money. And that the same thing goes for Sengoku and GarP. These three guys, who I would put Sengoku at 20 and GarP at 21, these three guys are somebody that I honestly feel that could tussle with most of the people above them due to them having the experience of fighting in the era where Roger was dwelling and also Whitebeard, the two strongest characters that we know existed and flourished at this point of time. These guys were able to rival these two strong characters and still make it and survive throughout the future, meaning that they could still tussle with anybody to the point where they will give a hard time for any sort of Yonko, any sort of admiral. But like I said multiple times, they haven't been in the game and we don't really quite know that much information about their current power level. Now, the people above these three old man trio are somebody or people that have showed us a little bit of their power, but not substantially great amount of their power. But we know that they are strong in our current universe of One Piece. And the person that I want to put at 18 is Yamato. Yamato might be one of the strongest females currently within the world of One Piece. But I feel like it's more of a storytelling thing on why she was able to sort of rival Kaido in power, but her ability within Conqueror's Haki, in her Devil Fruit, and in Advanced Conqueror's Haki puts her in a position that is far stronger than anybody that we've seen besides Kaido and Big Mom. Yamato has showed us a sort of power that even went beyond Luffy before he adapted to Kaido's fighting style and before he even learned Advanced Conqueror's Haki. Yamato is the person that I feel is going to be the benchmark of the Straw Hat crew, the top fighters of the Straw Hat crew. We all know that there's a possibility that Yamato is going to be connected or be a part of Luffy's crew towards the ending of this arc, but I feel like in one of my previous videos, she's going to be the person to sort of strengthen and teach the Straw Hats on certain things that they need to know, that they should actually know after this fight. And she will be the person to sort of hone their skills in a certain way that they would need to know. And a person that I slightly put above her, but also is interchangeable with her, is another strong female, the one and only Boa Hancock. Boa is a person that we really haven't seen much strength for of post time skip, and the fact that there's a possibility that she might lose to Kobe is something that might position her a little bit lower after this video. But the reason why I feel like Boa is extremely strong is because of the possibility she has with Advanced Conqueror's Haki. Everybody at this point who had Haki in the past, I feel like they will end up learning Advanced Conqueror's Haki, or a sort of strength that puts them beyond a lot of people. And that goes for Boa Hancock. In the Paramount War, or the War of the Best, pre-time skip, Boa showed us the sort of Haki that she was able to use in tandem with her fruit ability. And I feel that Boa actually awakened her ability to the point where she can turn anything around her to stone. And that is a form of her awakened ability, that she is allowed to control the emotions of anybody, and to the point where if anybody looks at her, female or male, that they will be infatuated with her and not want to fight her. That is her awakened ability as well. So once we get more information about Boa's strength and everything, we're going to realize that she is actually stronger than we actually thought. And that's why I feel like she should be positioned in the higher echelon of the characters within the world of One Piece. Now, the next two people are characters that I feel that sort of play a part because of the actual things that have been mentioned about them. These two characters that I'm going to end up mentioning are characters that I feel that are very important to their position, but not only that, to the world of One Piece. And the first one would be Lucky Roux at number 16. Lucky Roux is a person that we haven't seen much of, but the first time we saw his strength, he was able to speed blitz a normal character and shoot him in the head with no sweat. And one of the things that I want to mention is Brand New's comment about Shanks and his three top commanders. Shanks was mentioned, and his three top commanders were mentioned by Brand New to be a threat in their own right. And I sort of considered that as a mentioning of what Luffy and his crew would be like. That each and every one of Shanks' crew, his top three commanders, could hold their own against an admiral or anybody that I've mentioned within the current list easily. Because Shanks was mentioned to be the closest character throughout the world of One Piece, throughout all of the four emperors. He was considered to be the closest to be a pirate king. his power alone was mentioned to be one of the best within the series. And Kaido's vision of Luffy sort of puts Shanks as one of the top fighters in the world of One Piece. So I feel that that also relates to what Brand New mentioned, that the top 3 commanders of the red hair pirates are somebody that is considered to be strong. Like I said before, it doesn't quite make sense for me to put these guys in the list because we haven't seen any feats, but based off what Brand New said, I feel like that's substantial enough because of Shanks' ability and the fact that his team around him is well-rounded compared to the other Yonko. The other Yonko have sort of people around them that probably have a higher quantity in strength, but not quality compared to Shanks' crew. Shanks' crew is more singular. His crew is a little bit less in quantity, but highest in quality, in strength, and in battle prowess because of the amount of battles that Shanks have been through and the amount of things that they've actually done throughout the world of One Piece. That is what makes the 3 commander of Shanks sort of stronger than most of the characters that I'm mentioning. And a person above Lucky Root that I would have to actually mention that we've never seen anything of is Greenbull. Greenbull, just based off his position, is an admiral, and that tells me that he has to be at least top 20 or top 15 strongest characters within the world of One Piece. And compared to each and every one of the admirals, I feel like to be an admiral, you have to have a certain power or a certain technique or skill that puts you in a position, so in case of any major threats. So even though we haven't seen Greenbull and haven't seen the amount of powers that he actually holds, we know that he is quite skillful based off the position that he is in alone. And the only person above him that we slightly do know about that was actually considered on the same level as him is Fuijitora. And Fuijitora will be my number 14. Fuijitora, as we've seen so far within the arc of Dressrosa, he has an observation haki that is above a lot of characters. And plus the devil fruit that he wields, the gravity or the stomp fruit, where he can control gravity within itself, makes him a scary opponent. And I feel that that will sort of considered his strength within the world of One Piece. That has to make him top 15 because of his fighting prowess, because of his position, and because of his devil fruit. But I do feel like everybody above him could still easily beat him or could easily be in a high diff fight where he would lose to them. And the person that I want to mention that would be above him is Sabo. When we first saw Fuijitora and Sabo fight, we realized that they were sort of even. That Sabo could have lost, but he didn't because he just found his newfound powers. But the fact that they were considered equal through this clash means that Sabo could still possibly get stronger and that he can learn a way to defeat Fuijitora with his current power. Sabo is the second strongest person within the Revolutionary Army. He's the brother of Luffy and Ace, so that means that his fighting ability, his adaptability, his spontaneousness within a battle puts him higher than every single person that I've mentioned throughout the story. The only thing that makes him different or not as strong is if he didn't know Conqueror's Haki. The amount of Haki that he currently knows in observation and armament could easily increase the next time we see him. But I do know that his strength is beyond a lot of people, and that shows within the fight between him and than Fuijitora. The person I consider stronger than Sabo would be Marco. Marco is my number 12. A lot of people that I've seen within their videos have positioned Marco a little bit lower, but I feel that Marco has one of the most broken devil fruits throughout the whole entire world of One Piece. His Phoenix fruit is something that a lot of people don't consider that quite much. He has the power to control flames, so that means that fire will not harm him in any way, making him stronger than Sabo. That his regenerative powers, if he gets hurt, are far beyond every single character that I've mentioned. The reason why he's so high for me also is because of the current war that we are in. He was easily able to handle King and Queen by himself, which another reason why I feel like Oda did him a lot of justice. He created a new benchmark of what a first division commander should actually do. Besides what Katakuri and what King did, he created a sort of system that I feel that Zoro is going to have to reach, where he could easily sort of take care of two commanders by himself just to hold them back. Marco has created a bench where I feel like a lot of people within the future of One Piece is going to get in the next few arcs. Marco is somebody that is strong, that's been through a lot of battles, has a lot of battle experience, and that is clearly outdone by two other first division or vice captains, in my opinion. And like I said before in the beginning of this video, the person that I honestly consider stronger than most of the first division commanders is Zoro, and that is why Zoro is number 11 to me. Zoro is a person that has increased a lot since the beginning of this war, and towards the ending of the war, when he's completely healed with his newfound powers, with the ability that he has, he is easily able to tussle with the last few people that I've mentioned. He could easily find a way to fight against Marco, because now he has advanced Conqueror's Haki, which would put his potency power level to a whole new level. Being able to give Marco a high diff fight, but to come up on top because of the similarities that he has with Luffy, meaning that he does not want to lose. He has an endurance higher than most of the people that we've actually seen and that we've actually mentioned, that I have actually mentioned throughout this list. Zoro is a person that I feel that is extremely strong at the current moment, especially with the amount of feats that he has taken that increased him way beyond Sanji and way beyond every single character to a significant amount. Zoro, like I said with Ben Beckman and what I said about Rayleigh, Zoro is the moon to the sun. So Zoro is the moon while Luffy is the sun. They are two characters that are considered to be compatible with each other and is supposed to be in sort of the same level, giving of course the edge to Luffy. But Zoro has reached a sort of strength growth that we have not seen if we sort of kick out Luffy out of the way. Zoro is that person that has increased monumentally, significantly, to the point where every single person that I've mentioned, he could easily or high diff fight them and turn out with that W. He would probably give a hard time, or Sabo would definitely give a hard time to Zoro, but I see Sabo definitely losing to Zoro. We saw a little clash with Zoro and Fuijitora in the Dressrosa arc, and Fuijitora beat Zoro, but said that the technique that Zoro had at that current moment is extremely strong and dangerous, meaning that ever since then, when Zoro has consistently gotten stronger, that makes his power potency higher than it was in Dressrosa. The fact that Zoro was part of the rooftop five and Zoro was able to protect the rest of the rooftop five with the blow that signature blow that Big Mom and Kaido did. He was able to hold that and then being able to stand up, give Kaido the final blow, that scar that Kaido said that will give him a scar. Kaido even mentioned that he was somebody that was considered to be strong. And even after that clash with the rooftop five and the two Yonkos, Zoro then goes in to beat King. The amount of things that I'm seeing from Zoro is the amount of things that I saw that Katakuri showed and that Marco showed, that he has to be in a position where he needs to step up even if it's a Yonko. And that is what I like from him. And that is what he has showed. So I feel like he could easily be put in higher, not top 5, but definitely slightly higher than a position that he is currently in, because he's definitely giving a hard time for every single character that I have mentioned or that I will mention within this list. Now let's talk about the top 10. The top 10 characters that I feel that are the strongest characters throughout the whole world of One Piece. And we're going to start off with Kizaru. The old 3 admirals are said to be extremely strong, and I really feel like they are. They put a significance in a power gap between the new admirals and a lot of the current people that I have mentioned within this list. And Kizaru is a person that I feel that once we've seen his awakened potential within his devil fruit and to actually see his overall strength, Kizaru would be put slightly higher than he currently is. But the 3 admirals, the 3 old admirals, are going to be significantly strong and probably one of the last antagonists of the story for the Straw Hat crew. And I feel like out of the old 3 admirals, Kizaru is unfortunately the weakest out of the 3 of them. But he will be put in a position where he will have to go all out against one of the main fighters of the current series of the Straw Hat crew. And Kizaru will show us why he is top 10 in the verse. Now, number 9, number 9 for me is Mihawk. Hawkeye has literally had no sorts of feats that we've seen so far besides the Paramount War, but Hawkeye has a sort of epithet of being the greatest swordsman in the world, and the fact that he clashed with the strongest or one of the strongest Yonkos in Shanks, he was able to compete with Shanks, meaning that he is supposed to be at least Yonko level. That is why he's number 9 and part of the top 10. That every character above him is probably slightly stronger, but would give him a difficult time to actually have that win. But he is the person, the benchmark for Zoro, and he is pretty much what we expect Zoro to be. So Zoro at the current moment is learning all these new things, has these new power-ups, and we have to assume that since Zoro wants to beat Mihawk, that Mihawk or Hawkeye has this certain strength, this current strength that Zoro has, but way stronger. Now, a person that, the 2 people that I feel that is stronger than Hawkeye, but also a person that could be interchangeable, but in my eyes will never be interchangeable until it is mentioned in the story that one is stronger than the other, is Akainu and Aokiji. I think that one of the most toxic belief or ideals that I have is that Aokiji is way stronger or slightly stronger than Akainu. That the thing that was mentioned, that Akainu beating Aokiji, is something that I feel that will play a part within the future of One Piece. That we will actually find out that Aokiji is the one that won between this battle. The only reason why he decided not to take the position is because he knew that Akainu could easily control the Marines at its current level and to honestly rebuild, while Aokiji goes and experiences the world for himself and sort of plays as a mole within the Blackbeard pirates and to pretty much know what's going on. He is the person that pretty much is feeding information to the government and to Sword, and he is most likely the leader of Sword. And I also honestly feel that he is way stronger than Akainu, because Akainu's ability is the ability to control lava. But it was mentioned that Akainu had a hard time dealing with Aokiji's Devil Fruit, which should easily be a W for Akainu. But the fact that he had such a difficult time fighting Aokiji means to me that Aokiji's ability and his fighting skills has to be far beyond Akainu, and that even if Akainu won over Aokiji, that it was just a slight win because of his Devil Fruit, meaning that I feel like Aokiji has to be way stronger than Akainu, and that is why I put Akainu at 8 and Aokiji at 7. So the next two, once again, could possibly be interchangeable, but I will give the edge to number 5 instead of to number 6. Number 6 being Ben Beckman. I've mentioned this multiple times with the conversation with Zoro and the conversation with Marco and the conversation with Rayleigh. I honestly feel that being the first commander of a Yonko crew, or even the vice captain of a Yonko crew, puts you above a lot of characters within this numbering, within the power scaling. And that is why I feel Ben Beckman is a person to be reckoned with, and he is number 6 and definitely the top 10 strongest characters currently in the One Piece verse. He's the person that all the admirals would have to watch out because he could definitely give them a high diff fight. Ben Beckman is said to be the moon to Shanks. He is the opposite of Shanks, but they're considered closely in par in strength. Of course, Shanks might be slightly stronger due his experience in fighting, also the possibility of him being on a whole new different level due to him being more spontaneous as well. But his battle prowess and his experience is something that could be slightly above Ben Beckman. But considering all of that, Ben Beckman being slightly stronger or slightly weaker than Shanks means that Ben Beckman is and should be considered one of the strongest characters within the world of One Piece. He could easily hold his own against the rest of the First Division commanders and the admirals as well. Now, the person that I said could be interchangeable with Ben Beckman, but also probably not, is my number 5. That is the one, the only, the main character of this story, Luffy. Luffy is the 5th Emperor of the Sea, and with his current power-up, will be considered one of the strongest characters throughout the world of One Piece. After this war, it will be considered Luffy as the top dog. He will now be considered as one of the strongest characters throughout the world, and most likely one of the strongest characters within the 4 Yonko. Luffy being declared the 5th Yonko out before the arc of Wano was sort of something that I feel that Oda was hinting that after this arc, the Wano arc, Luffy will definitely be in the level of a Yonko, and this is starting to show with his newfound powers. His Devil Fruit ability, his Advanced Conqueror's Haki, his Advanced Armament Haki, his Advanced Observation Haki, he is starting to become somebody to reckon with that could easily beat each and every one of the characters that I've mentioned. He will give a hard time, of course, a high diff fight for each and every one of the admirals, but he is in a position where his endurance and his willpower and the will not to lose will actually make him succeed over the rest of the characters. He's a person that after this fight, that Big Mom, that Kaido, if they ever fought again, that Shanks, that Blackbeard would have to watch over or watch out, because he is a person that is in their level. Prior to this arc, Luffy was considered not in that level by most of the Yonko, but now he is definitely in the conversation of being a Yonko, and he is definitely Yonko level, meaning that he definitely has to be considered the top 5 strongest characters, and could definitely be interchangeable after this fight with the next 2. Number 4 being Big Mom, and number 3 being Kaido. The 2 other Yonkos that they're currently in a fight with within this war, Luffy after this war could easily tussle hand to hand on the same level with Big Mom. And now that he's going to beat Kaido, the strongest being that we've ever seen, Luffy will be considered top 3 within the ending of this arc or towards the next arc. He will be a threat that not everybody can take lightly because of his ability and because of his endurance and his willpower. Now, I said that Big Mom is number 4. We all know why, because she's big. But Big Mom is a person that, of course, that has a sort of battle experience that dates back to the Rocks Pirates. Also, Kaido, the amount of endurance and a fighting skill and amount of attacks that he has actually absorbed throughout this fight, he is now getting serious within the most current chapters. But Kaido is a person that I honestly believe is not one of the strongest people within the verse, that he gets beaten out by 2 other people and definitely could be interchanged with Big Mom once we've seen Big Mom's true strength. But Kaido is that first real boss that you're going to see towards the ending of a game, because his strength is something that no one can laugh about. He has an endurance that has the similarities of Luffy, but the adaptability that makes him strong as well. And within this fight, we're starting to see why Kaido was considered a Yonko for a very long time. Now, the 2 people that I feel that is above everybody is definitely our number 2 and our number 1. Our number 2 being Buggy D Clown and God D Usopp for number 1. These 2 characters are somebody that Luffy can probably never overcome, because they are the creators of One Piece.